Justice Watchers, before we begin, I want to make this absolutely clear. The following broadcast contains public domain courtroom footage, commentary, and legal analysis. This content is presented under the fair use doctrine as defined by 17 U.S.C. 107 and is protected by multiple Supreme Court rulings, which you see below. This stream is transformative, educational, and journalistic in nature. It includes original commentary, trial breakdowns, legal interpretation, and critical analysis, not raw redistribution. We do not claim ownership over any public domain footage, and all use is strictly within legal bounds. If you're watching this content, you're engaging in a protected, transformative experience, grounded in law, never in speculation. And if anyone has a problem with that, take it up with Campbell, Brady, Miranda, and Irvin. Remember, guys, justice always works better when we watch. So keep watching. See you in the courtroom.
At the room 10.
He didn't.
Who said that?
I just said that.
Okay. But you just said earlier he said you were at the room 10. Do you recall ever hearing Mr. Reales Dominguez say, I was at the room 10?
I don't.
Those your words.
I believe those are my words.
You're wearing almost what appears to be the same clothes, maybe different shoes. You're on surveillance camera. Let's see, I believe it's in front of this building at one point. You're on surveillance video. And there's a lady that got hurt. I've been honest with you the whole time. I'm not making this stuff up. I'm just trying to figure out why. Trying to figure out why. Like, to help me understand, like, you just all of a sudden got into this rage, or I don't want to put words in your mouth. I just want to try to understand why 2 people have died. And one that's in critical condition. Like, why these 3 people? Was it random that you killed 2 people and injured 1? No. It wasn't random? No. So why then? Jim, why then? Why these 3 people? John, why these 3 people? I'm not sure. You're not sure why you targeted them? Mm-hmm. You just don't know why that you picked those 3 people? No, what? I'm not sure, what? Was it just like 3, I don't know, what? You're yeah, I'm not sure. You're not sure what? You didn't pick those 3 people? They were just there at the time when you decided to do this? No, I didn't do what you're saying. I'm not sure what it has to do with the 2 and I'm sorry, I can't understand you. Just help me understand it. Certain people, like John, certain people are into things. Like, I like to golf. I like to come to work most of the time, right? I like hanging out with friends. I like listening to music. Is this a thing that you like doing? No. So why did you hurt these people? John, it's okay. I'm just trying to figure out what happened. Did you want to keep looking at this? Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. You're not sure why you did this? No, I'm not sure what the two people have to do with it. Like, we were trying to, describe the two. I'm sorry, I guess I don't understand what you're saying. What's that? I'm not sure, what you were trying to describe. I'm trying to figure out, what happened and why you did what you did. That's really what I'm here for. That's my job. Okay, I'm here to try to understand, and maybe you can explain it so I can understand, other people can understand. Like maybe you have a reason for this. Maybe you didn't. Did these people attack you? No. So, can you explain why you attacked them? No. You can't explain why? No. Can you try to explain why? Did you think it would make you feel better about your situation with school? No. Can you tell me why, John? Any part of why? Like you wanted to see what it was like? No. I don't want to put words in your mouth, John. I want you to tell me why. Any way you can describe why. You're watching a movie and you're like, you know what, I'm going to go to the park and I'm going to kill someone. Yeah, I wouldn't. I'm not sure. How what's that? Why, I'm not sure how you explain, how, things happen, or, why, they got hurt, or, you can't explain it, even though you're the one that did it? I'm confused. No. No what? No, I would know how to explain it. Do you remember how many times? Do you remember how many times you hurt this person with a knife? No. You don't remember how many times? No. How many, if you could take a guess, would it be 1 or 2 or 20? How many times? This is the person by the carousel and the playground. How many times did you hurt this person? Oh, I don't know. Take it, I mean, what do you think? 5 times you hurt him? 10 times? 20 times? No, I don't know. You don't know how many times? No. Too many to count? No. So if you were to guess how many times you hurt this man at the Central Park, how many times? Take your best guess. If you don't remember a number, was it 1 time that you hurt him? If I was to hurt him. I don't know. You just don't want to tell me? No. No, I'm not sure. What do you mean you're not sure? What are you not sure of? Like, how you said, how many times you, probably, hurt him? So, this person had over 29 cuts to their body, okay? Injuries to their body from a sharp object. That's what I'm asking. John, that's what I'm asking. Was it with the knife that we had in the bag that you had? Or was it with something else? Was somebody else with you? No. Nobody else was with you? You were by yourself? Yeah. You were by yourself? Yeah. Okay. Was there anybody else in the park? No. Was it just the guy sitting on the bench or laying down on the bench? No, I'm not sure. What do you mean you're not sure? I wasn't I don't know how, I got to, I don't usually walk there, but if I would, I would just, go along, the pavement, I've been to the farmer's market, I know the area of it, but I don't know about, the bench and, maybe it was, doing that. Hey, John. What happened at the park with that man that was sitting on that bench, or in that general area? What happened with you and him? Did you guys get in an argument? No. Was he asleep? No. I didn't see anyone. Did you see someone that you killed though? No. Did you kill that man? No. John, did you? I didn't. So, if you didn't, who did? I'm not sure. You're not sure? John, it's okay to be honest. I don't know if something in your head is telling you to do this. No. No what? No doesn't mean anything to me. I don't know what that means. What question are you even answering? Your question told me because there was something in my head. I don't think so. Was it Carlos, the other guy that you used to be? Was it him that did it? No. I consider myself one person. Where'd you get that name again? Well, it's like within like my name. It's within your name? Yeah. Okay. So we're not going to talk about where Sycamore Park is. We've already established that. That's right out by your house, right? Yeah. Okay. So, there's a guy that died in this park. Do you remember that? No. So, can you tell me about the guy that died in this park? No. I'm not a fool. I'm not aware of that. You're not a fool? I'm not aware of what you're saying. But you saw it on the, you saw it on your computer, you saw it on the alert. John, you were in this park today with a large knife, okay? Were you not? You were in this park today with a large knife in your bag. Yes? Or no? Yeah. Okay. Tell me about the guy that was riding a bike through this park the other night before he died. What happened? Did you guys get into an argument? No. Do you know this man? No, I don't. So why this man? Why this man and not somebody else? Joe, why this man? Why was this man that was riding a bike through the park? Why this man? Why hurt him? John, can you help me understand? Yeah, no, I'm not sure. What are you not sure about? You're not sure why you did it? Is that why? No. So what are you sure about? I'm not sure about the bike. Okay, this man was stabbed in the park. Mm-hmm. Or cut, or shanked, or you can use whatever term. I don't know what term you prefer. I can use whatever. Is there a term that you prefer I could use? No. Okay, so there was a man cut with a knife in this park. There was a person that lives nearby. Okay? Mm-hmm. So when this person was being stabbed, that person came over and thought there was a bike accident. Do you remember this? Do you remember leaving the scene? You don't remember that? No. You don't remember getting on the victim that died? You don't remember getting on their bike? John? No, I don't know. You don't remember getting on their bike and going over this bridge here? No, I don't. So you know what happened, we talked about DNA before, right? Yeah. You know what happens when you hurt someone or kill someone with numerous stab wounds? That blood transfers to you, or the person that did this, right? And then you jumping on this bike, then the bike is covered in blood, and DNA, and fingerprints. What else? Okay? So why would your DNA be on that bike? what your DNA presented like. Can you tell me why? No, I can't. You can't tell me why it's not on there? Or why it would be on there? How you doing? You okay? No. I know I talked to you a little bit earlier. Do you have any mental health issues? No. Have you ever been diagnosed with anything? No. Like schizophrenia or bipolar or anything like that? No. Have you ever been to the hospital? Yeah. Have you ever been to the hospital? What were you at the hospital for? I've been there like for 1 year. For what? I've been there for like checkups, like whatever. Have you ever been there for like a mental illness? No. Okay. Do you know the difference between right and wrong?
Sergeant Muscardini, you just heard a part where you start asking Mr. Reales Dominguez if he had a mental illness or if he'd been diagnosed with anything?
Yes.
And you specifically asked him if he'd been diagnosed with schizophrenia?
Yes.
You already testified that you had not received any training in recognizing the symptoms of schizophrenia, but had you heard of schizophrenia at the time of this interview?
I'm not sure I understand your question.
Well, obviously you mentioned it. Did you know, what did you think schizophrenia was at the time of this interview? What was your understanding of what that term meant?
I didn't. It's a question that I ask on a regular basis in my line of work.
What was your general understanding, though, on May 3rd at about 10 p.m. about what schizophrenia was?
That it's a mental illness.
Beyond knowing that it was a mental illness, did you have any other knowledge about it at that time?
No.
So what caused you at this point to stop and start asking Mr. Reales Dominguez about whether he had any mental illness, whether he'd been hospitalized for a mental illness? Why did you ask those questions at this point?
I don't remember why I asked him at that time.
Had you, I'm not asking about right now, but on May 3rd at 10 p.m., had you observed behavior in Mr. Reales Dominguez that caused you to believe he may have a mental illness of some kind?
Yes, potentially.
What did you observe? Once again, I'm thinking your thought process is on May 3rd. What had you observed that caused you to believe he may potentially have a mental illness?
So he was slow to answer questions, sometimes even simple questions or more difficult questions. So he would say, pause, and then he would answer the question. And that was throughout the interview.
Anything else that you noticed at that time that struck you as unusual?
No.
When he denied that he had a mental illness, were you aware that denial of mental illness is a common symptom of schizophrenia?
I was not.
So that's now not fully until next time. What I feel like that's like the right and wrong. Like what's something that is wrong? I'll say something like not good. And what does that mean to you? What's not good? I think it like, to me, not good is like doing things like, don't want, or like, like if it, I feel like if it's wrong, like, you also, like, know, like, not to do it. So that's, yeah, I'm not sure.
So is it wrong to steal from a stove?
No.
It's not wrong?
I say if it's for like because of something else, then I say what would be wrong with him.
Is it wrong to break into someone's house?
Yeah.
Is it wrong to kill someone?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think cheating on a test is wrong?
No. I mean,
Why isn't it wrong?
I'll say, like, I'll say that it is wrong because, like, I mean, like, the work is there and, like, you didn't,
Is it? Do you take any medications? Like prescribed medications or any other things?
no.
Have you ever taken medications?
No.
You've never been diagnosed with anything, you've never been hospitalized. What about your family? Have they ever been diagnosed with anything that you know of? Like a mental illness or anything?
No.
Detective Muscardine, why are you asking about whether someone in his family has been diagnosed with a mental illness?
I don't know.
At that time, did you have some knowledge that some mental illnesses can be genetic or have a genetic component?
Potentially, I didn't know if that's why I asked it, but I believe that is a possibility.
Is there a reason you're not telling me everything? Are you worried about getting in trouble? Are you worried about going to jail?
No. I'm just like trying to answer like to your questions. What you're trying to say.
Is there anything at your house that you're worried about us finding?
No.
So if we went to your house, there's nothing that concerns you?
No.
No? Where did you go after you got on the bike and rode it over this bridge? Where did you go? So you left the bike right about here, this little bench there. Where did you go after that? Can you help me on the map? You can either draw a line or
I didn't go anywhere.
John. I've been honest with you. Is there any reason you're not being completely honest with me?
No.
All right, John. Do you have any questions for me right now? You don't have any questions?
Can I see what time?
It is 10 o'clock. You normally out walking by now?
No, I just have some school. Had a test, but
You have a test?
yeah. Or I have to prepare for a test.
Okay.
Yes.
You've accused him of 3 stabbings, including 2 homicides.
Yes.
And you heard him, he was concerned about a test he had to take.
Yes.
Did that strike you as unusual?
Yes.
At that moment, did it appear that he had any insight into the situation he was in?
I did not.
So you know why we're here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And why are we here?
For questioning locally. This has been going on around Davis.
Yeah. What's been going on around Davis?
Like the crime alerts. Like the crime that's been happening.
The crime? Do you know what crime?
Yeah.
Do you know that because of you being in here today and the questions we've asked you, or because you looked it up online, or because you're the one that did these crimes?
No, because of like what you
Did you know that there's cameras across from Central Park that are at the church?
Yeah.
There's cameras right. See, this is Davis Community Church. Have you ever been there?
No.
Okay, did you know there's cameras on this side that weren't directly at the park?
No.
Can you see why that would be an issue?
Yeah.
And why would that be an issue?
I'm not sure.
Well, you said yes, it would be an issue. Are you concerned that you would be on video?
No. I would say that it would be an issue because, like, just like the cameras, like, how there's, like, a lot of cameras, but it wouldn't be an issue because it's, like, like
Did you know that, I just want to make sure we're looking at the right map here. Did you know that the person that died here was a student?
no.
Were you upset when you found out that he was a student and not a homeless person?
Yeah.
Why were you upset?
Because of like looks like a wife that passed away.
So you wish he was a homeless person?
No.
But you thought at the time it was?
No, I didn't.
No, you didn't want.
I didn't think like it. Like real life.
You didn't think of it at the time
Mm-hmm.
that you. So you didn't think of it at the time that you killed him. You thought he was a homeless person.
No.
No what?
I don't know, like what made me upset. But like, I'll say like, because it was like, because of like the student. Mm-hmm.
So when you found out that you killed a UC Davis student, that made you upset?
he like talking about like the homeless and autistic.
So you wish it was more a homeless person than a student? Like if you had to choose one, it would be a homeless person? You don't know? Why do you not like homeless people?
I don't have any particular hate or like.
You're sure?
Homeless people, yeah.
Do you think it's hateful to kill people?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure?
If
It's hateful?
I think, yeah.
Yeah, what?
I think like there could be hate. Yeah, I'm not like mad or like I don't have like any like negative feelings towards homeless people.
Did you kill 2 people and try to kill a third because you were going to be homeless?
No.
So then why did you kill 2 people and attempt to kill another person?
I didn't.
You didn't?
No.
So who did?
I don't know.
Was it your body though that killed those people?
No.
Was it your soul? Was it your brain? What was it?
No.
Was it your hand?
No.
So what was it? Help me understand.
Yeah, I wouldn't know how to like help you like understand.
Okay.
Because I don't know what's happening.
You don't know what's happening?
No. I don't know,
Well, 2 people died, and 1 person is in critical condition. And you were at all 3 locations. So, can you answer the question?
yeah.
Why were you at all 3 locations? Central Park, Sycamore Park, and 2nd and L Street.
I wouldn't know.
What do you mean you wouldn't know?
Like why I would be like at those locations.
Well, you don't say why you were there, but you were there. So I'm just trying to figure it out. You always said you were here. You always said you were here. And you said you were here. And you're on camera here. And you're on camera from here. And over here. Where you dropped the bike that you were riding after you were covered in blood. And you were here on camera here. and throughout the whole downtown area on a bike. So what do you think? John. Can you tell me why? What's going on, man?
No, I'm not sure.
You're not sure?
No.
What are you not sure about? No. What are you not sure about?
Probably. Like the places. Like,
What's that mean? So, the place is right here, this is where the tent was that you got through, okay? And it's all red map, so maybe you've never been here before. You're definitely sure about this place because you were there today. And you know where Central Park is. So what are you not sure about? You have blood on your sweatshirt on one side. So what are you not sure about? You have a giant cut on your hand. You have a bunch of other cuts on your other fingers that are already scabbing over. So what are you not sure about? You're not sure about telling me, or what are you not sure about? John, Mayor, what are you not sure about?
Detective Muscardini, was this the first point when you got in closer that you noticed there was blood on the sweatshirt? Or had you noticed it earlier?
I don't remember when I noticed it, to be honest with you.
Where could you see it when you got in closer to Mr. Reales Dominguez?
I don't remember where it was at.
Whether you want to tell me or not?
no, I'm not sure about like the places and like how yeah, I'm not sure.
What are you not sure about the places? Okay, take the places out of it. Okay? How many people did you cut or stab in the last 5 days?
I didn't stab anyone.
You didn't stab anyone?
No.
What did you do? How did 2 people die? John, how did 2 people die? John, how did 2 people die? Was it an accident? You're shaking your head now.
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
Okay. So why is there blood on here? So
Okay, you mark your spot.
Yes.
Okay, just a moment. Lights. And then the blinds as well. Okay, folks, we're going to take a break at this time. And remember the three-part admonition, and I'll see you on the other side of the break. Thank you, folks. Operator. Thank you, Council.
This video until you come back in, and I'm gonna ask you whether you were observing this through the two-way mirror or not.
Okay.
If you recall.
What is going on? See the maps out here, you guys went for some.
Yeah, it was like
Did you know all these places? You're familiar with them all?
yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember that Saturday night you got that?
Oh yeah.
What about the other ones? You want to look they're older? Or like
Those, I'm not sure how.
you're not sure. I want to show up the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like these question knuckles.
Yeah, these I'm not sure.
You're not sure I got those?
No.
And then those. A couple quick questions, nothing kind of beating around the bush and stuff about what's going on. But we're starting to get to the point where it's time to move on. So what we're going to do in a few minutes is have you guys come in here. They're going to take pictures of you. You're going to take your clothes. Not all of them, but they take some swabs of your hands. When I say swabs, that is a Q-tip. So far too dry, nothing else wet.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think we're looking for? When you do something like that?
Like the DNA.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah. No, you're right. We're looking for DNA. Other than your DNA, what do you think we're going to find? Told me at the time it's not a complaint, and I have more information now, so I had to step out for a little bit. John, look at me. I can see from here blood on you. I got some new video of you riding that bike away from that tent, wearing that same sweatshirt. You see it clear as day. You were right in front of the camera. I'll give it to you in a minute. This is a search warrant. You don't have it for these.
What's that?
You don't have it for these. It's called a search warrant.
No.
So what we did, we wrote this, we sent it to the judge. The judge reviews it, signs it, and stamps it, which authorizes us to go into your house, to search your house, to seize evidence, to collect samples. Allows us to take your DNA so we can compare it to all the other evidence that we have. So I'm saying right at the end of the road here.
when I get an opportunity to talk to me, talk to us, you let me hear it from you. Are you ready for that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll start with Central Park. I got on the bench. I figured I should hear him. I know you probably don't recognize him because you probably never saw his face, okay? What was he wearing that night?
I'm not sure.
What did he look like? When you walked up to him on that bench, what were you thinking?
I don't know.
What were you feeling?
I'm not sure. It wasn't.
You were what?
It wasn't like feeling anything. Like I'm not sure.
All right. Tell me about what time it was.
Well, the time.
Yeah, what time of day? What time that happened?
Like late, like 10.
So you didn't know who that person was, right?
No.
Why did you target him?
Well, I didn't target him.
Why did you choose him?
I didn't. Like,
Why? Okay. Why him? Is he awake?
no.
Did you ever see his face?
No.
You know the first time you ever killed somebody?
Well, no, I haven't killed anyone.
Look at me. Remember, I told you we're beyond that. And I'll tell you this, we've already been in your house, too. Not me, because I was here. The other detectives who were out there. Guy on the bench. The first guy. Was that the first person you ever stabbed?
No.
No. Who was the first person you ever stabbed?
I'm not sure. Like, say, myself.
Yourself? Okay, somebody other than you. You ever stabbed somebody before? Before these times in Davis?
No.
How many people have you stabbed? Total.
I haven't stabbed anyone.
No, we're not playing that game. We're not playing that game anymore. We're done. Told you that. We're done with all that. We're not playing around anymore, okay? We've been trying to give you the opportunity to come out, be honest with yourself. I can see blood on you right now. I told you that video of you. Tell me about the guy in the park, the guy on the bench. Don't give me that. Don't. No, start giving me that. I told you I never dealt with this garbage. I'm not playing those games anymore. He said it was late. He said like 10 o'clock. Right? I don't want the words in your mouth. I'm just repeating what you told me. You set out that night looking for somebody. Did you have this in mind?
No.
You chose the guy on the bench. Why?
I'm not sure. I was just sitting there.
Okay. You're sitting there. Where in the park were you sitting?
In the bench.
Okay. Were you watching them?
No.
Do you know the man or woman?
No, I don't.
So you walk over to him. I think you probably waited until you made sure nobody else was around, right? How long do you think you waited there?
I'm not sure.
Minutes or hours?
Like hours?
Am I right that you were just waiting for the time? Were you contemplating, were you thinking about what it would be like? I mean, what was going through your mind there?
No, I wasn't thinking of anything. I was just, like, I was just like, just like, looking at the days.
Looking at the what?
Like, I was just sitting like looking at like the day, or like what was like in like the bench, like.
Okay, at some point you decided to get up and walk towards them. Right?
Yeah.
Where was your knife?
I'm not sure.
Or was it on you, on your body?
I didn't have a knife with me.
Then where'd you get the knife from? right? You already had it?
Yeah.
Okay. Am I talking about missing parts, the sheath, or the scabbard, whatever you want to call it, from that knife? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Do you remember where you lost it?
No, I don't.
Well, I have it. You lost it that first night. How many times did you stab him?
I'm not sure. I didn't.
Listen, I told you we're done with this stuff. There's no going back.
Detective, Mr. Karim, do you recall if you were in the other side of the two-way mirror watching this as this was happening?
I was not.
We're in your house. Door handles, things like that. Look familiar?
Yeah.
What is that? Door handle with blood on it.
So, just to be clear, at 10:42 and 53 seconds on May 3rd, 2023, did the Davis Police Department already have photos of blood found at Mr. Reales Dominguez's residence?
I don't know.
Now, did Detective Ramos ever show you what photos he was showing Mr. Reales Dominguez?
He did not.
Right?
Yeah.
So, the first guy in the park. How many times did you stab him?
I'm not sure.
Yes.
I wouldn't say I started.
No, I am saying you did. I already know you did. That's why you're here. So there's a difference between, I'd say, a little and a lot. Between 1 and 40. You said that more like 1, more like 20, or more like 40. How many times?
I'll say more like 40.
Show me how you held the knife. Which hand did you use?
Just like,
Here, use this. See, this is the back.
uh,
Okay. Show me how you did it.
like,
Okay. Were you behind the bench or in front of the bench? Did you hold him down with one hand?
no,
What was going through how did this whole thing make you feel? Did you get rushed out of it?
no,
Was it exhilarating?
no,
Did you want to kill
No.
You just wonder what it'd be like.
No.
Help me understand. Wednesday was a rough day. The day after you got to school. Seems like your entire world was collapsing that day. What's done is done, we can't change it. Right?
No.
When you stab somebody that many times, you're saying about 40 or right around there, what do you think is going to happen to them?
I'm not sure.
You're trying to be a nurse.
Yeah.
You're going to school with the goal to be a nurse, right?
Yeah.
So you have some basic knowledge of the human body and basic anatomy, right?
Yeah.
If you stab somebody with like that 5-inch knife 40 times, what do you think is going to happen?
You could, like, I don't know, like the person feels like a lot of blood, right? Or,
That happens when you hit vital organs, right? You already said you bleed. The person lives a lot of blood. Do you think it's even reasonable to assume they would survive that 40 stab wounds?
no.
Right, okay. So again, not putting words in your mouth. When you stab somebody 40 times, what do you think would happen?
They'll die.
No. When you left your house that night, did you leave with the plan to kill somebody?
No.
What that thought in your head?
No.
At what point throughout that day or that night did you make the decision to stab this guy?
I'm not sure.
Was it very soon before you started? Or are you thinking about it for a little bit, so I just sit in the park longer?
No, I wasn't like thinking of that thought.
Until when though? Because you did think that you're smart. You're not an idiot, you're not stupid. There was a point when you made that decision. The decision could be either to walk away or to stab him. Do you remember the question?
Yeah.
Okay.
You said like, something like to walk away or stuff.
Yeah.
Walk away, right?
Let me ask you the more simple question. Did you know he was homeless?
No.
Okay. Could you make the assumption or infer that a person sleeping on a park bench at 10 o'clock at night, wouldn't you assume that they're homeless? No, have you ever seen somebody sleep on a park bench at 10 o'clock at night who had a house to sleep in? So I ask you again, could you assume that he was homeless, sleeping on a park bench in the middle of the night?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you choose him because he was homeless?
No.
Do you have something against homeless people?
No, I don't.
Did you know that what race he was?
No.
Did he talk to you at all?
No.
Did you say anything to him?
No.
Where was your knife? I know you said how you're holding it, but where was it on your body?
Like on my hand.
But like, did you have when you walked up and walked around? Was it in your pocket? Was it in your like a belt on with a waistband?
No. Like, it's just my hand.
Were you walking around the streets like that with it in your hand?
No.
Okay, where was it?
Just like in my pocket.
Okay. And you had the sheet with you then, right? When it was in your pocket, you took the sheet with you.
Oh yeah.
What point did you realize the sheet was gone?
Like a while. Like
No, it's kind of broken through a couple things I told you before about your holding things in. You find this a little bit easier to talk about. Just kind of helping.
yeah. Yes.
Did you see what happened to him afterwards?
No.
When you left, where was he?
I'm not sure.
Did he try and fight you?
No.
Did he struggle?
No.
Did he put his arms up like this or anything? He's trying to defend himself.
No.
Okay, what did you do afterwards?
I'm not sure. Just,
What did you do afterwards? Where'd you go?
I'm not sure.
How did you feel the next day?
I just look at it and I don't really like think about it too much until I got up. what I have to do.
So, how many people total have you stabbed?
No one? Okay, sir?
2?
Sir?
No. We just talked about this. You just told me that you stabbed that guy 40 times. You just said this. We're not seeing these pictures for nothing.
Did you hear Mr. Reales Dominguez just tell Detective Breaux that he stabbed 0 people? Did you hear that?
Yes.
Remember, we're past that. We're past where we're going to see us around each other. Right, I showed you bloody pictures from inside your house. Right, I told you about the video we have of you. So let's be honest with each other. How many people have you stabbed?
I'm not sure. No?
You can't tell me that you stabbed one person, then not sure that it's 0. I'm wondering if I'm going to find any more people out there dead in the park. There's only 3 that I know of. Am I going to find anybody else?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen anybody outside of Davis?
No.
Back home, Oakland?
No.
Alright. We'll come back to this one a little bit, alright? I'll move on to the next person. Tell me about that one. What does he look like? I don't want to hear I don't know out of you either. You know. What does he look like?
I'm not sure how he look.
What was he wearing?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Where did you come across him? Where were you guys? Saturday night. Where were you? Specifically, when you came across the second guy.
Saturday night, I was at my place. I didn't run into anyone or anything.
Okay, that's not true. I told you we're done with this. What's done is done. We can't bring it back. We can't go back in time. Saturday night. You were out again. At a park. Again. Which park were you at? in front of you, point to the park you're at.
Oh, I'm not sure. I can't remember.
Tell me the guy you came across. How did you come across him? Were you hanging out at the park? Did you follow somebody? Were you walking?
No.
The only thing yes, no question I asked you, you gotta pick one of those. What were you doing Saturday night when you came across this guy? John, look at me. I told you we're done with the bullshit. That part is over. We're moving on. The second guy you stabbed, that's what we're talking about now, okay? Do you understand me?
Yeah.
That's the guy we're talking about. Tell me about him.
I'm not sure. I was just.
Detective Mascardini, were you watching through the video when Sergeant Ramos told Mr. Reales Dominguez that he was done with the bullshit and they were moving on?
I was not.
Okay.
Okay. You use that as your knife again. How are you holding the knife to the second guy?
I wasn't holding
Yes, you were. In fact, it was the same knife. I didn't know that part. Tell me about the second guy. On Saturday night.
I'm not sure. Yeah, like. Like. Some jeans. Sweatshirt.
What were you wearing? We'll start with that.
Let's just stop that for a moment. Did you hear Mr. Reales? Well, Detective Ramos was trying to get him to say what the victim of the second stabbing was wearing. Did you hear that?
Yes.
And that was Karim Abou Najm.
Yes.
Okay. And did you hear Mr. Reales Dominguez say jeans and a sweatshirt?
Yes.
Based on your investigation and view of the crime scene photos, was Mr. Abou Najm wearing jeans when he was stabbed?
I don't remember what he was wearing.
You don't recall if he was wearing shorts?
I don't recall.
Was Mr. Abou Najm wearing a sweatshirt?
I don't know.
Don't recall if he was wearing a t-shirt?
I don't remember.
Have you ever looked at the photos of what Karim Abou Najm was wearing when he was assaulted?
No.
Were you wearing the clothes you're in now?
No.
We're gonna find his blood on your clothes.
No.
We're gonna find his blood in your house. I already know his blood pressure, so whose it is. I know it's not yours. The second guy, I didn't find his blood at your house.
So Detective Reynolds keeps referencing these photos he has of blood. At any point did he ever show you these photos that he already had on May 3rd, 2023 at 11:04 p.m.?
No.
Tell me about him. What was he doing when he came across him? Nothing. Was he walking? Was he running? What was he doing?
Walking.
He had a backpack.
No.
Sir, did you hear Mr. Reales Dominguez responding to questions about the second stabbing of Karim Abou Najm, say that he was, quote, walking?
Yes.
Based on your investigation and the videos you've seen, when Mr. Abou Najm entered Sycamore Park, was he walking or was he on a bicycle?
I believe he was on a bicycle.
He had a bike.
No.
Were you at a park?
No.
Look at me. Where were you? Saturday night. Okay. How many times do you think you stabbed him? Yes, you did. Wouldn't be here if you didn't. How many times? Just like the first guy. 1 to 40 with 20 in the middle. How many times do you think? You don't have to make that number, that's fine. A little or a lot?
I'll say a lot.
A lot. Okay, I agree with you. How many times do you think?
I'm not sure.
Where on his body?
I'm not sure.
I don't believe that for a second. Where on his body? There's a big difference between stabbing somebody in their foot or their head. You know, like 5.5 feet of difference. Where did you stab him?
I did.
No, you didn't. You told me you stabbed him a lot. You already established that. You already said that you stabbed him a lot. How many times do you think?
I'm not sure.
So it's not one.
Sir, did you hear Mr. Reales Dominguez tell Detective Ramos, quote, that he stabbed him a lot? Or did Mr. Reales Dominguez say he didn't stab him, and Detective Ramos told him that he knows he already did? You understand my question?
No, not really.
Did Mr. Reales Dominguez ever say he stabbed him a lot? Or was that what Detective Ramos asked him to guess?
I think well, I
We can
thought
go back
he,
and play it again if you missed it.
well, I thought I caught it, but maybe I missed it.
Go ahead.
I thought he said that he stabbed him a lot.
So you heard Carlos Reales Dominguez say, I stabbed him a lot. That wasn't in response to Detective Ramos asking him to guess,
That was in response to Detective Ramos.
but you heard Mr. Reales Dominguez say he didn't stab him, and then Detective Ramos told him, yes, you did, I already know it, or something to that effect. You heard that?
Something to that effect, yes.
You did a lot, but that implies more than one, correct?
Correct.
How many times do you think?
I'm not sure.
Was he standing up? When you started?
No. I don't think so.
Okay. So what was he doing?
I'm not sure.
Look at me. Told you, I'm not playing these games with you anymore. That part's over. How'd you get him on the ground? What did you do?
I'm not sure.
The interesting about this one was somebody watched you. Remember that? Remember somebody running over to you? Want to take a little break? Stop talking for a second. Relax. Okay. All right.
Okay, counsel. All right, thank you. All right, the blinds up. All right, we're gonna take our midday break, folks. Do not form any opinions, do not research this case, and do not discuss it. And we'll see everybody back for the afternoon session this Tuesday, May 27th. Thank you. Chase. Good afternoon, sir. Come on in, stand here at the podium right in front of me. Thank you for being here. I'll ask the clerk to give you the oath, and then we'll have you take the witness stand. 2 lawyers to ask questions.
Please raise your right hand. You do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give and the cause not being for the court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Please be seated. State your first and last name for the record and spell them both.
Is Brian Chase, Brianchase.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Hutchinson, direct.
Yes. Good afternoon, Mr. Chase.
Good afternoon.
What do you do for a living?
I am the Managing Director of Digital Forensics and E-Discovery at Archer Hall.
And what is Archer Hall?
We are a national digital forensics and e-discovery provider. So we work all over the country doing work analyzing digital devices, cell phones, computers, location data, collecting it, analyzing it, testifying about it at trial.
And where are you based out of? Where is your office?
I personally am in Arizona.
And did you just fly in today?
Last night.
Sir, can you describe your educational experience that qualifies you for your position?
Sure. I received my undergraduate degree in Management and Information Systems from the University of Arizona. I also received a law degree from the University of Arizona. While doing that, I worked in IT in the College of Engineering at the University of Arizona. So I spent about 4 years there doing all sorts of IT-related tasks, computer maintenance, networking, email support, all the things you can think of when you think of IT. After graduating law school, I started taking classes specific to digital forensics. So I started training. I completed what they called a boot camp from the International Society of Forensic Computer Examiners. Went on to...
Excuse me, can you slow down just a
Sure,
little bit, please?
sorry about that. It was a boot camp from the International Society of Forensic Computer Examiners. Went on to earn certifications in mobile forensics and computer forensics from a variety of providers. I continue to take ongoing education in the area of digital forensics every year, attending classes and conferences to stay up to date with what's going on in the industry.
Were you a practicing trial attorney for some time?
I was, yes.
Okay. Are you still practicing as an attorney?
No, I am not. I stopped practicing in 2019.
Have you testified as an expert in digital forensics, including cell phones, on prior occasions?
Yes, I've testified about 45 times.
And in what, you don't have to list everyone, but what jurisdictions did you testify as an expert?
I've done Arizona State and Federal Court, New Mexico State and Federal Court. I've testified in this courthouse before, and I've also, I believe, in Nevada and maybe Alaska. I have to look back at my CV to be sure.
And do you have experience analyzing extractions from cell phones and computers, including MacBooks?
Yes, I do.
Have you performed extractions yourself?
I've performed hundreds of extractions on cell phones and computers.
And have you analyzed extractions performed by other individuals?
Yes, I have.
At this point, I'd like to offer Mr. Chase as an expert in cell phone and computer extractions and digital data analysis.
Okay, any voir dire?
Reserve.
Okay, all right, subject to that, we have a qualified expert.
Mr. Chase, were you retained by the Guillory County Public Defender's Office to analyze a cell phone extraction and extraction from a MacBook Pro in the case of Carlos Reales Dominguez?
Yes, I was.
And did you review the extractions performed by a person by the name of Christopher Kamada?
Yes, I did.
What other, when we talk about an extraction, what are you getting? What does an extraction look like?
So generally it is a zip file. So it is a zip file like you could create on your own computer, but contained within that is the data from the device. So in this case, there is a file that contains all of the data from the cell phone. We receive that in a variety of manners. We have the actual extraction, and then we also have the reports of the extraction that were also created by Mr. Kamada.
Okay, and how is a report of the extraction created?
You take the data from the extraction, then you run it through forensic software. So in this case, there was 2 programs used. There was a program called Celebrate, and there was another program called Axiom. The data is run into those, where the program then kind of parses that data, makes it readable. Most of that data is stored in formats that make it challenging to read and scroll through. So it makes it in a nice format, and then what happens from there is the examiner then creates a report of the data. And so they different options within those tools to generate a report, which allows that data to then be disclosed to other people and viewable without having to need a licensed version of the software.
How big, let's focus on the cell phone, how big of an extraction report are we talking about here?
Oh, it was large. I don't recall the exact size. I believe it was around 100 gigabytes, but I have to go back and look to be certain.
And what does 100 gigabytes mean?
Hard to analogize that to like paper or anything like that. It's a lot of data. So if you think of a common computer hard drive nowadays, kind of the low end of the computer market when you're talking about laptops might be a 256 gigabyte hard drive or a 512 gigabyte hard drive. As you start getting up, you usually have to pay more. So if you think about that low end of 256, this is about half of that, a little less than half of that.
In addition to reviewing the extractions, did you review any reports prepared by Mr. Kamada?
I did, yes.
How many reports for Mr. Kamada did you review?
I believe there was 2.
And did you also have an opportunity to review a certified court transcript of Mr. Kamada's testimony in this trial?
I did.
And sir, were you asked to conduct an analysis addressing some specific questions regarding the data extracted from the cell phone and MacBook Pro?
Yes.
Did you prepare a PowerPoint presentation documenting some of your findings?
I did.
Okay. I'm going to show you what's been marked Defense Exhibit KK. Just look at this flash drive. Did I show you this flash drive over the lunch hour and have you plug it into a computer?
Yes.
Did you review the PowerPoint on that flash drive?
Yes.
And is that the PowerPoint you prepared documenting your findings?
It is.
Okay. And is that version of the PowerPoint accurate? An accurate recording of your findings in this case?
It is, yes.
Sir, before we get to the PowerPoint, I'd like to, were you asked to analyze some cached images found in Amazon files taken from the cell phone on December 5th, 2023?
Yes.
Okay. So what is a cached image?
A cached image is an image that gets saved to a device automatically when viewing online content, typically when viewing online content. So, easy example, a way to think about it. If you go to a website, go to some news website, there's going to be a lot of stories on that website, and they're going to have pictures associated with those stories. Your browser is going to automatically save those pictures to your device, including the ones you're seeing, the ones at the bottom of the page that you might not have seen yet, that you'd have to scroll down to see. Those are cached images. They're saved by the device to speed up that browsing. So that way when you do scroll down, those images are already saved. They don't have to be loaded. If you close the browser and come back to it, those images are already saved. They don't have to be re-downloaded from the website. So cached images are images that are just getting saved automatically by viewing things online.
Anyone with a cell phone that they view things online, are they likely to have many cached images on their phone?
Oh, absolutely. We typically find, I'd say, tens of thousands of images on devices, many of which are cached images.
Does the fact that a person has a cached image on their phone indicate that they actually looked at that specific photo?
No, we have no way to know if they actually saw that particular photo or not.
Now, in your analysis of the cell phone, were there approximately 500 cached images of knives in an Amazon folder from December 5th?
Objection leading.
Overruled.
Yes, there were.
Okay. And where were these images found? What folder or file were they in?
So they were within a directory for the Amazon application. So when you're talking about a phone, you'll generally use different applications. In this case, it was the Amazon application, and then within that, there are these cached images.
The fact that these cached images are within the Amazon application, what does that tell you?
That they came from Amazon.
And sir, are you familiar with Amazon?
Yes.
Now, if a person were to do a search for a knife on Amazon and then enter it, will Amazon have multiple images of knives that they can scroll down to, based on your experience?
Yes, absolutely. You search for pretty much anything on Amazon, you're going to get a lot of results. So if you search for knives, you're going to end up with a lot of knives. You can scroll down and it will kind of keep scrolling for quite a while. All of those images, all of those product listings will have an image there of a knife.
And would that result in those images, cached images, being uploaded onto a person's phone?
Yeah, it would be downloaded, but
You get it wrong. Downloaded.
but yes, they would be downloaded onto the device when you do a search like that and you start scrolling through.
Now, I'd like you to assume that we heard testimony from someone from Amazon that once you hit the search, depending on what you're using, you can just scroll indefinitely. Does a person have to scroll past an image for it to be downloaded, or is it just downloaded automatically?
There'll be a certain percentage of which that are downloaded automatically. So when you run that first search, you might see, say, 4 on your phone screen. But there might be more that have been cached that are kind of below where you'd have to scroll to see them.
So in your opinion, sir, does the fact that the cell phone had more than 500 cached images of knives, does that mean that, you can assume it was Mr. Reales Dominguez's phone, and you can assume that he did the Amazon search, does that mean he actually looked at all of those 500 images of knives?
Not necessarily. There's not a way to tell from the data about how far a user scrolled or how many they actually saw.
So based on this, is there any way to determine of those 500 photos which number a person actually scrolled past and saw?
No.
You're on Commission Published Defense Exhibit KK.
Okay.
Now, sir, were you asked to do an analysis of phone power events for a period between December 31st, 2022 and May 3rd, 2023?
Yes.
What is a phone power event?
It's when the phone powers off or powers back on again.
And are there different ways that a phone can be powered off?
Yes, there are.
Okay. What ways can a phone be powered off?
User can manually, power it off, hold the power button or combination of power and volume depending on the device, or the battery can die.
And did you prepare a summary of all the power off events beginning on December 31st, 2022 that lasted more than an hour on this phone?
Yes, I did.
And sir, I'm showing you the second slide. This is a time when the phone is off for more than 1 hour. How were you able to make this determination that on these dates the phone was off for a specific amount of time but more than an hour?
Just so looking through the power off and power on events, so you look for when the phone shuts off, and then looking for when it didn't turn back on again for at least an hour.
And did you find periods where this phone was off for more than a day?
Yes, you can see several of them up there. There were a number of periods of time where it was off for a day or more.
So from December 31st, 2022 to January 1st, 2023, how long was the phone off for?
I'm sorry, could you repeat those dates?
Look at the top. December 31st, 2022 to January 1st, 2023. How long was the phone off for?
Approximately 1 day and 5 hours.
And then, first column, middle of row, from February 11th, 2023 until February 12th of 2023, how long was the phone off for?
It was approximately 1 day and 9 hours.
And from February 20th, 2023 until February 24th, 2023, how long was the phone off for?
It was almost 4 days.
And so going to the next column, from March 23rd, 2023 to March 28th, 2023, how long was the phone off for?
It was approximately 5 days and 5 hours.
And from March 28th, 2023 until March 30th, 2023, how long was the phone off for?
1 day and 23 hours.
And sir, from April 3rd, 2023 until April 5th, 2023, how long was the phone off for?
That was also approximately 1 day and 23 hours.
Now, sir, looking, direct your attention to April 17th to April 18th, 2023, and it indicates that the phone was off for 17.5 hours.
That's correct.
You have a little asterisk next to that date. What does that indicate?
That means the phone shut down due to the battery dying.
And we see that is, again, from, it looks, well, from April 25th, 2023 to April 27th, 2023. How long was the phone off for?
Approximately 1 day and 5 hours.
And you have the little asterisk next to that?
Yes, that was also a time when the battery died.
So by the battery died, that means someone did not manually power it off. The battery just died.
Correct.
And sir, again, from April 27th, on April 27th, it appears that the phone was off for 7 hours.
Yes.
And were you able to determine whether that was manually powered off or whether it was due to the battery dying?
That was due to the battery dying.
Sir, for the dates prior to April 17th, were you able to determine, based on the data, whether these power off events were the result of the battery dying or being manually turned off?
I was not able to determine. The earliest event where we have information that the battery died was that April 17th event, so I don't know about before that date.
So, based on the data, can you tell one way or the other whether all these other dates were manually powered off or the battery died?
I do not know.
I'm showing you, next slide, labeled battery shutdown events. What are we seeing in this slide?
This is a screenshot of the data in that Axiom software program that I mentioned before. This is where it was showing the battery events when the battery died. It did 2 lines every time, so you can see like it shows, it duplicates. So the first one there is April 17th, and again April 17th, same time. It was just the way that that data was being presented within the tool. But this was all of the data showing the battery events, meaning when the battery caused the phone to die or power off.
If you know, why is there not any data prior to April 17th saying whether the battery died or not?
I don't know.
Now, sir, in your experience, when a cell phone gets older, battery deplete quicker than when you first purchased the cell phone?
Absolutely.
Does that happen for iPhones?
It happens with every phone.
If you know what causes, is it simply the battery gets old? What causes it to, over time, not hold a charge as long?
I don't know about the battery engineering, but it has to do with the way the batteries work. They just degrade over time.
Now, sir, I'm showing you a slide titled Power Off Events by Hour for 2023. What does this slide show?
This was just trying to take all of those power off events and then kind of graph them out to see, like, is there a particular time of day when this happens more often? And the short answer was not really. So we kind of averaged it out, looked to see when is that phone turning off, and you can see, 1 is kind of the baseline, and then it spikes. There was like between 10 and 11 a.m. I think 3 times that it turned off. So there wasn't any consistency of when that phone was being turned off.
It appeared to be turned off at random times throughout the day?
Pretty much, yes.
Now, sir, were you asked to analyze cell phone location data for a period between April 26, 2023 and May 3rd of 2023?
Yes.
Was there any location data from April 26, 2023?
There was not. The phone was offline.
And so you see here, there's an event, April 25th, 2023. It says power event, power off. What does that mean?
That's that same data we had just been talking about, those power on and off events. So there was a power off event on April 25th, and then the phone didn't power back on again until April 27th.
And this April 25th power off event, was that a result of the battery dying?
It was.
Sir, you're seeing a slide now titled April 25th to 27th, 2023 power events. What does this slide depict?
Similar things we were just talking about, just kind of focusing in on that time period of the 25th through the 27th. So, as we saw, the phone, the battery died on April 25th. The phone powers back on again on April 27th. It is on at 4:57 a.m. The phone stays on until 4:13. The battery dies again at 4:13 p.m. And then the phone powers back on at 11:26 p.m. that evening.
And so the April 27th, 4:13 p.m. power off event, that was again the result of the battery dying?
It was, yes.
So are all the times noted in this presentation in Pacific time?
Yes, everything is local time.
Were you asked to, now, we're looking at a slide titled April 28th to 30th, 2023 power events. What does this slide depict?
Just kind of continuing with that timeline. So on April 28th, the phone powers off at 12:21 a.m. The phone stays offline until April 30th at 11:43 a.m.
And this April 28th event at 12:21 a.m., was that a battery dying or was that the phone being powered off?
It was not the battery dying. The phone was powered off.
And so because the phone was off during this period, is there any cell phone location data?
There's not.
Now, sir, in your analysis, did you look at power on and power off events for May 2nd?
I did.
And did you review Mr. Kumada's reports regarding the power on and off events for May 2nd?
I did.
Was there anything about the power on and power off events from May 2nd that struck you as unusual?
Yes, we have 20 power on events in a row with no power off events. That's obviously unusual. I mean, just thinking about your own phone, you can't turn it on if it's already on, so it indicates there's some sort of issue with the data for May 2nd.
So you say there's some issue with the data from May 2nd. Do you have an opinion on what caused that issue?
I do. There was some information on that phone earlier in the day on May 2nd that indicated there was references to what's called Gray Key. Gray Key is the forensics tool that was used to download the data from this phone. So what likely happened here is the phone dies. It sits somewhere for a period of time before it is downloaded. When that happens, that battery dies and the phone can lose its time. It's no longer keeping accurate time. So when the phone goes to be downloaded, it might be showing the wrong date. In this case, likely showing May 2nd. So when we have these entries from Gray Key on the phone, that's likely the cause of the forensic software downloading that data, and then the phone time is incorrectly showing that it is May 2nd. So all of these power on events likely are caused by that forensic software conducting its download, and it's just incorrectly logging it as May 2nd because the phone thinks it's May 2nd because it's been off for so long.
Who would use Gray Key to download information from a phone?
Gray Key is a tool sold to law enforcement for the forensic download of phones. So it would be somebody in law enforcement or a prosecutor's office.
So, sir, and I'd like to assume for the fact that law enforcement did not seize the phone until May 3rd of 2023. Is that after May 2nd? Does that change your opinion as to what likely happened?
No, again, it would kind of help establish that, yeah, there was something wrong with the phone's clock by the time that phone was downloaded because clearly law enforcement did not have it on May 2nd, so Gray Key could not have been used on May 2nd. Further indication that something went wrong with that phone's clock between the time that it was seized and the time that it was downloaded.
So, sir, in your opinion, are the power on and power off events for May 2nd reliable?
No, they're not.
In your opinion, do you think they are, the power on and power off events for May 2nd, do you think they are an accurate depiction of the user actually powering on and powering off the phone?
No, I do not.
Sir, were you asked to do an analysis of the phone location data during the times that the phone was turned on?
Yes.
What is phone location data?
So what we're referring to here, there's multiple types of location data, but here we're referring to GPS data from the device. So iPhones store 7 days worth of GPS data, and so that's what we're looking at here is from the iPhone, the kind of prior 7 days of GPS location history.
Are you able to get location data from prior to 7 days, or reliable location data prior to 7 days?
It's hit or miss. It depends on where that data is coming from. You can, for something like a picture, could have location data, but you're looking at a single point. When you're trying to figure out like path of travel, movements of an individual, there's a lot less likelihood you're going to find something prior to 7 days.
And in the specific location data that you used, where was it? What file or location was it found?
It's in a directory called Routine D.
And how long is that data that you used stored for?
That's 7 days.
Now, so I'd like to direct your attention to the slide labeled April 27th to April 28th. What is this showing?
This is a screenshot of location data for that day. What is depicting here is these kind of circles of the location data. So what it's showing is the midpoint of that circle, the center of that circle, is where the phone says it is, and then the size of the circle is the accuracy estimate. Mr. Kumada had narrowed it down to accuracy that were 65 meters or better. So I did the same thing here. So what the size of that circle is showing is the biggest ones are 65 meters. The smaller ones are going to be more accurate according to the phone. So it's showing that accuracy estimate from the phone.
So this screenshot is showing that during the period from April 27th to 28th, the phone was at the locations noted?
Yes.
Is the circle, you said 65 meters, is that the radius or the diameter?
That's the radius.
And we can't really, you may not be able to see it, but what, is there an address noted in the bottom circle?
Yes, there is.
What address is that?
I believe it's 762 Hawthorne.
And the circles at the top, they appear to be near a green area. Is that Sycamore Park in Davis?
It is.
And sir, are you able to take this location data and put it in some sort of animated form so you can see a path of travel or where the phone is at a specific time?
Yes, and I did that. That is the following slides show animations of location data.
Describe how you do that.
I use a forensics tool called CellHawk. It's a tool that helps us map the data so we don't have to do it all by hand. Essentially what I did is I took the data from the phone, I exported it into an Excel file, I kind of filtered it down to where we're looking at just that routine D database, and then filtered it down to those accuracy estimates of 65 meters or better to kind of get rid of the ones that have really large accuracy estimates. And then I take that Excel file, I upload it to the tool, and then it maps it all out for us. And then I go and I check to make sure, I pick some of those location dates to make sure it actually mapped it correctly, it wasn't mismapping something. And actually what we're looking at here is a screenshot out of that tool.
I'm going to the next slide. It's labeled at April 27th to 28th, 11:20 p.m. to 12:20 a.m. animated. Is this one of the mapping examples that you prepared?
Yes, it is. This is that animated view. On the far right side of the map, you can see kind of a vertical timeline. So that there's a box up there at the very top that says 11:20 p.m. So that's what it's showing on the map right now. When we hit play, that box will kind of move down the timeline. It will show you the current time that's depicted, and then you'll see the location data corresponding to that time on the map.
Now you have a time frame from 11:20 p.m. on April 27th to 12:20 a.m. on April 28th, which is only an hour. Why is it only an hour time frame?
There's no data after 12:20 a.m. Stops around that point. At 11:20, that's showing the data kind of from before the phone starts moving.
And when the phone first starts moving, where is its general location?
It is at the Hawthorne address.
And is that on April 27th?
Yeah, it starts around 11:20 p.m. there on the 27th, and then goes. Most of the location points we're about to see are actually the morning of April 28th at 12 a.m. to 12:20 a.m. period.
Are there any location points at Sycamore Park prior to midnight? In other words, prior to midnight on April 28th?
I believe there is one point.
Once the location data stops, is that when the phone was turned off?
I'd have to go back and look at the power events. I believe so.
Yeah,
If the phone was still on, would you expect to see more location data?
Yes, I would.
Were you able to do any cell phone location data for April 29th?
No, the phone was off at that time.
If a phone is off, can you get any data from the phone during the period that it's off?
Nope, phone's off. There's going to be no data from that date.
And were you able to get any location data from the date of April 30th?
I was, yes. So we have that kind of on the map here. It starts at 11:47 a.m. The phone never leaves that Hawthorne address on April 30th.
So is the phone on during this time period?
It's on starting at about 11:47 a.m. is our first location point. It stays on, it appears to stay on throughout the day.
And if when I hit play, will you see the location points for the phone throughout the day?
Yes, we will.
And sir, were you also asked to do analysis of the cell phone location data for the date of May 1st?
Yes.
And on this slide, there's a time frame of 5 p.m. to midnight.
Yes.
Why are we seeing only that time frame?
That's when we start to see some movement of the device around 5 p.m. I don't recall if there was location data earlier in the day, but shortly after 5 p.m., I believe it's around 5:24 p.m. or 5:34 p.m. Excuse me, is when we see movement of the phone.
So right now, at the very top at Hawthorne, it shows 4:51 and 38
Yes.
seconds. Okay. And that means the phone's at the Hawthorne residence.
Correct.
At some point, does the phone start moving toward the UC Davis campus?
It does.
And at what point does the phone start moving toward the UC Davis campus?
It's at 5:34 p.m.
And so describe what you just saw there.
So the phone leaves the area of that Hawthorne address at 5:34 p.m., travels to the UC Davis area, is there for a little while, and then travels back to the Hawthorne address, or at least in the area of the Hawthorne address.
It happens pretty fast. Are you able to determine the specific time that the phone starts heading back from UC Davis to Hawthorne?
On May 1st, I don't recall what that time is on May 1st. I think it's around, we have to go back and look. I think it's around 7 something.
Let's try it. You want to play it again? Should be sometime before 7, 6:45 approximately.
Yeah, it was a little bit before 7 p.m. there when we see the phone start heading back.
And does the phone remain on throughout the remainder of the night on May 1st?
It does, yes.
Were you able to do cell phone location data for the date of May 2nd?
Yes, I was.
And we see time of midnight to 3:30 p.m.
Correct. So it's starting at 12 a.m. On May 2nd, running to 3:30 p.m. There's no location data after that point.
Now, sir, during this time period, do you see the phone leave the Hawthorne residence for the UC Davis campus on any occasions?
Yes, it appears to leave twice.
We're going to play it again. What is the first time that the phone left the Hawthorne residence and started moving toward the UC Davis campus?
It's approximately 9:28 a.m.
And what happened when that phone got to the UC Davis campus? What do we see?
It kind of stays in one general area of campus and then heads back towards the Hawthorne address at about 10 a.m.
So I'd like you to assume, for purpose of question, that Mr. Reales Dominguez had an appointment scheduled in UC Davis at 9:30, 9:30 to 10. Would that be in the general time frame of the movement you saw?
Yes, it would.
At some point, do you see the phone again leave the Hawthorne residence and go to the UC Davis campus?
Yes, it leaves again in the afternoon at approximately 1:57 p.m.
Can you recall how long it stays? Or does the data end at 3:30? Is that what happens?
Correct. The phone heads to the campus at around 1:57, stays on campus until the data ends at 3:30 p.m.
So you can't see what happened in terms of location data after 3:30.
Correct.
So right now we're seeing the data about approximately 2 in the morning at the Hawthorne residence.
Correct.
And we've just seen the phone leave approximately 9, go before 9:30, go to UC Davis campus and immediately back around 10, correct?
Correct.
And so we just saw then the phone leave the Hawthorne address approximately 1:57 p.m.
Yes, that's right.
and then remained on UC Davis campus until the power was off, correct?
Correct. Our last data point there is 3:23 p.m.
And because this is on May 2nd, do you have reliable data as to whether the phone died or was powered off at that point?
I do not.
Did you, were you also asked to do an analysis of an extraction of a MacBook Pro data? Excuse me, a MacBook Pro.
Yes.
And do you have experience doing extractions and analyzing data from a MacBook?
I do, yes.
Now, I'm showing you here, it's an image of a memorial bench. It says cached image. Were you able to see this image on the MacBook Pro?
I was, yes.
Was it a cached image?
Yes, it was.
How were you able to determine that it was a cached image?
At the very kind of bottom of the slide on the right, there's a title that says evidence information, and there says source below that. If you look through that lengthy source, the word cache is in there. I think it says web cache. I can't quite see it. The bench is in the way. But it says cache in there. That's one indication that this is a cached image. It came from the browser on that data of May 3rd.
And does it indicate what time this cached image was downloaded onto the phone?
Onto the computer?
Onto the computer.
Yes, it is at 11 and 14 seconds a.m. So 11:14.
Did you do any analysis to determine what websites that MacBook Pro was accessing at approximately 11 a.m.?
Yes, so this image came from the browser on the computer, Safari. So we went and looked at the browser history around that time to see where might this image have originated from.
And I'm showing you a exhibit marked browser history. Or a page marked browser history. What does this page show?
This is the browser history from around that time in the morning. So you can see the URL visited, or the website visited on the left, and on the right you see that timestamp. The last one I have in bold is that myucdavis.edu. It seems like from there the user goes to a few other websites. The cached image is likely coming from that UC Davis address, or at least one of those addresses we see right around there at that 11 a.m. time period.
At approximately 11:08 and 15 seconds, what website is this person going to?
At 11:08, yeah, it's the first line there. It looks like cbsapps.ucdavis.edu/advising/appointment/create.
And did you review an Excel sheet record from UC Davis indicating that Mr. Reales Dominguez, at approximately this time, went online to book an appointment with an academic advisor?
Yes, I did.
And in the process of going online to using his website to book an appointment, in your opinion, could this image be, this cache image be downloaded from the UC Davis website?
Yes, it looks like the activity that morning, most of it is coming there from the UC Davis website. We know this image is a cached image. It had to be on a website that was visited. There's a likelihood here that this image was somewhere on a UC Davis webpage that the user was visiting and therefore was cached on the computer.
So the fact that there's this cached image on the MacBook, does that mean he actually saw and looked at this image?
Not necessarily. Just like we talked about with the Amazon cached images, your browser is going to be saving images from the websites you visit. So we don't know where this image appeared. I went back to try to see if I could figure out where this might have appeared on the UC Davis website, but I could not find specifically where it is. It does seem likely that it came from the UC Davis website.
Did you go to the UC Davis, the current UC Davis website, as part of your analysis?
Yes, I did.
And here's shooting UC Davis record. We're seeing a note that has been admitted into evidence from of booking an appointment on May 3rd at 11:10 and 38 seconds. Is that the document you reviewed?
Yes, this was the document from UC Davis, so this kind of matches up with that browser history we were seeing of the user visiting the UC Davis website. This kind of lines up because this is data not from the computer, but rather from UC Davis.
Now, this slide shows, what does this slide show?
So this is what the myucdavis.edu website looks like. Well, I wrote today. It was at the time I took that screenshot, which was about a week ago, maybe a little less than that. It just shows what that website looks like. And there are a number of different things here where there are potentially cached images that could be saved, or images that could become cached, I should say. So like we have an Aggie feed in the bottom right corner. As you scroll through that, sometimes there are pictures. You see some various images and graphics around this different website. So I was trying to get a sense of, could that image of the memorial have come from the my.ucdavis.edu website? So I looked to see what it looks like now, and then I used what's called the Internet Archive or Wayback Machine. It archives websites to see, did it look like this back in May of 2023? And it looks substantially similar. The archive did not have images, it did not have the various graphics saved, but the structure of the website with all of these different feeds was the same back in May of 2023.
So, did you look to see if you could find the actual images on the website on May 3rd, 2023?
I did. I could not find an archive of this website from May 3rd. The archive that was saved on the Internet Archive was from a little later in the month and did not have various images saved. It only had kind of the boxes that we're seeing, like the UC Davis web wellness. Those kind of boxes were there. So it indicated the structure of the website was the same, but the images were not saved.
But the structure of the website on May 3rd, 2023, did it have various ways that this photo could have been downloaded onto a phone?
Yes, absolutely. So, for example, the Aggie feed in the bottom right corner, that existed back in May of 2023 as well. So if the image had been in that feed and the user goes to this website, that image could become cached on the computer.
So I'd like you to assume that that image of the memorial was being widely circulated in the media on May 3rd of 2023. If that image was available on the UC Davis website, in your opinion, could it have been downloaded onto Mr. Reales Dominguez's MacBook simply when he signed in to make his appointment?
Yes.
I have nothing further. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. All right, Mr. Vanderhook, cross-examination. I think we need to bring the blinds down. I say so reluctantly.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
So, you're an attorney, correct?
I'm still licensed, but I do not practice anymore.
Right. And so, you talked about stopping your practice in 2019. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And so, if you stopped practicing in 2019, why did you get your New York bar license in 2021? What's the purpose of that?
I have family in New York, and I was dealing with the death of my aunt, and I was the executor of her estate. Thought it might be useful to have a license in New York, so I applied and got my license in New York. Never ended up using it, but now I have a New York bar license and could practice if I ever want to.
All right. And you're still an active member of the Arizona bar?
Yes, I keep my licenses active.
So you're a licensed attorney even when you don't practice?
That's correct.
And you have experience in advocacy, correct?
Correct. I was a trial attorney, and I also teach trial advocacy at the University of Arizona Law School.
And you've given talks related to advocacy and such?
Yes, I have.
And so your current role here, is this different than your role as an advocate?
Yes, the role of an expert witness is quite different than the role of an advocate. An expert witness is here to present facts of the actual facts, and an advocate is obviously advocating for one side of the case.
Okay. And so during your testimony here, you're acting strictly in your capacity as an expert witness and not as an advocate.
That's correct.
And you mentioned that you currently work at Arizona.
That's where I live, yes. My work is national, but I live in Arizona.
Okay. And are you paid to come to court and testify like this?
I am personally salaried, so Archer Hall is paid for my time, but my salary doesn't change based on my testimony.
Understood. And which position at Archer Hall?
I am the managing director of digital forensics.
Are you one of the partners there?
No, I am not.
And how much is Archer Hall paid for your testimony?
I believe our rate was $450 an hour for analysis and for testimony in this matter.
And so, can you give us a ballpark of how many hours this whole thing will be billed for?
Prior to today, I believe we were around 20 hours, so roughly $9,000.
And so after today, with everything together, what would it be?
Add another few hours, so somewhere maybe $10,000, 12,000, or 10 to 12,000, somewhere in that range.
So the report that we saw on the overhead, that was just shared this morning to the parties, correct?
That version, there were some slight changes that I had made this morning to address some things in the presentation.
As far as that report, there's a prior version?
Correct, yes.
And did you share that report with the prosecution at all?
I sent that report to Mr. Hutchinson. I don't know what happens with it from there, but I provided it to defense counsel.
Okay. And so were you CC'd on the emails disclosing your report just this morning?
I don't recall.
Okay. When Archer Hall discloses reports and puts them for download, do people have to put in their information to download the report as far as identifying who is accessing that particular report?
Yes, they do.
And so, for example, if I was downloading it, I would say that I was the prosecutor's office and have to put my name and email and that sort of thing?
Yes.
Are you aware of the prosecution having any access to that report prior to this morning?
I don't know.
I'm gonna check on the discovery. This was all.
Are you done with that line of questioning?
Yes?
Yeah, okay. Moving on.
Because before you had a different report, correct?
That's correct. Earlier in the month, I had a prior version of the report, and then it was revised 1 or 2 weeks ago.
So I want to talk to you briefly about cached images. Cached images are, you mentioned, saved by doing things online, correct?
Yes.
And you mentioned that a cached image doesn't show that it was viewed, correct?
Correct.
So when I go to a website, how does the image get on the screen so that I can view it?
So when you go to a website from, let's say, a browser, so you open up a browser, Safari, Firefox, Chrome, something like that, go to a website, the browser communicates with the servers for the website, and it then downloads the images from that website to your device, and then loads them onto the screen that you're actually seeing.
And so a cached image becomes cached when it's loaded onto the screen for the viewer to view, right?
It is loaded in that process. It's not necessarily displayed on the screen, depending on where on the page it would appear.
Okay, so the web page loads, and then depending on where I am on the web page, I may or may not see it.
Correct.
And in fact, the image could be on the screen, and I just don't see it because I'm not looking at that part of the screen, right?
Absolutely.
And so, other than the fact that the computer has the image on it, there's really never any way to tell that someone definitely looked at a particular image, correct?
Right, not from a cached image.
And so regarding the Amazon cached images on Mr. Dominguez's cell phone, you mentioned that there was a lot of images of knives,
Yes, there were.
over 500?
Yes.
And so that would be consistent with someone doing some shopping for knives and looking around at different knives on Amazon, correct?
Yes, it could be.
And so when you go to Amazon and you say search for combat knife, it doesn't immediately load 500 different images of knives, correct?
I do not know how many images it would load at once. I have not tested that.
All right. You've been to Amazon?
Yes, I have.
Do you have any reason to believe that it loads 500 images at once?
I don't know because, again, it can load things that aren't visible on the screen. You certainly don't see that many at once.
And when you visit particular items on Amazon, let's say you're shopping and you're going to looking at a knife, then it also suggests similar items to you, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
And so those would also result in cached images if it was a similar suggested item to an item you were looking at.
Objection off that scope.
Yes, that's correct.
All right, so you can get cached images from searching, and you can get cached images just from being on a page, correct?
Yes.
And so these kind of 500 images, do you see anything inconsistent with that, with records that may show that there was 13 individual knives that were actually checked on Amazon? Is there anything inconsistent about the number of images with that kind of shopping experience?
No, there's not.
And so if we wanted to know, I understand that the images, 500 images, doesn't necessarily show how many they actually looked at, but if we wanted to know, we could look at, say, an Amazon record that showed us how many they individually clicked on and actually looked at, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I want to talk to you about the phone analysis events. Trying to borrow the events, KK.
Yes.
So you did an analysis of the frequency or timing of power off events, correct?
Yes.
Why is that 0.5s on this scale? Like, what is a half a power off event?
There's not any half. It's just the way that the way Excel generated it. So you can see there's kind of nothing there at that 0.5 level. You kind of look at those ones. So it's 1, 2, and 3 is what we're seeing there.
Okay, and so this is talking about power off events over the course of months, all of 2023, correct?
Yes.
All from January 1st all the way to May 2nd.
Yes.
And so despite having a lot of lines for these half events, really we only have a maximum of 3 at any particular time, correct?
Correct.
And even for these events, you don't know which ones of these are manual power-offs versus battery shutdowns, correct?
Correct.
And so it could be that all of them, except for the few that we know are not battery shutdowns, could all be battery shutdowns.
It's possible.
Because those battery shutdown events, the phone logs them in 2 different places, correct?
I believe so.
And so there's one log for shutdowns in general, and then there's one for specifically battery shutdowns, correct?
Yes, there is.
And that log for that's specifically for battery shutdowns is the one that's shorter, correct?
Correct.
And so for a battery shutdown that is on that log, you would expect it to find on the battery shutdown log and on the normal shutdown log, correct?
Yes.
And so since perfect. And so for everything before this kind of April 18th, 2023 shutdown, we don't know whether those are battery or manual power off, correct?
Correct. We don't know.
And you talked about Mr. Kumada. Did you have a chance to review Mr. Kumada's reports in addition to reviewing the transcript of his testimony?
Yes, I did.
Did you find anything inaccurate in his reports or things that you didn't think were supported by your review of the evidence?
I don't believe so.
handing you what's been marked for identification purposes, people's 45B. Can you take a look at that for me, please? Now, what is 45B?
This is a chart from Celebrate of location data based on their research of locations that are reliable and unreliable.
Thank you. And do you recognize this chart specifically?
Yes, I do.
And this is a chart that you provided as part of your work on this case, correct?
That's correct.
And so at the top, it talks about, well, may I publish sharing?
Okay.
Switch this. And so at the top, we have indication of types of location data. This is the private VA or mobile library. This on the top 2 lines, 3 lines, do you see that?
Yes.
What is this chart telling us about whether that location data is accurate and reliable?
It is saying based on the research that Celebrate did, that data is accurate and reliable.
And so if Mr. Kamada circled this to indicate that this is the data that he's using, then he's using the accurate and reliable data, correct?
Correct.
So what other types of location data are there other than, well, let's try that. That location data, is that native location data?
Yes, it is.
What's native location data?
Native location data is that 7 days of location history is stored natively by the phone as opposed to not by some other app on the device. And it's stored in that location that was just circled that we were looking at.
And so, what other types of location data do we have other than native location data?
There are a ton of different sources of location data, some reliable, some not reliable. There's things like Wi-Fi locations that are not particularly reliable. There's cell tower location data that's not particularly reliable. It'll often have accuracy estimates in thousands of meters. There's location data from various apps on the phone that may or may not be reliable depending on the app that's used. There's location data from things like pictures. So there's a ton of different sources of location data.
And so for Wi-Fi location data, why is that not reliable?
What you tend to see is that it all will have the same timestamp. So you might see like at one particular time there will be a ton of different locations that are inconsistent with each other. So that's one example. The other reason, which is less common but can occur, is it's based off of the information for that Wi-Fi router. So they learn where different Wi-Fi routers are around town. But if you were to move, you take your Wi-Fi router and you move it, now it's at a new location. But when a phone sees it, it says, oh, I recognize that. I think it's here, but it's moved down the street over here. So there's kind of a couple of different reasons why Wi-Fi locations might not be reliable.
I'm handing you what's been marked for identification purposes as people's 45B and C.
C and D?
B and C.
I thought we just looked at B.
44B and 44C.
Okay.
And we did what we, and there's 2 Bs.
No, the other
I'm sorry.
one was 45B.
45B, sorry, and this is 44B and C. My apologies. All right, I'm handing you 44B and C. Can you take a look at those for me, please? Were we able to look at those?
Just now, yes.
Okay, and you've seen this data before though, right? This is data from the extraction that you looked at from Mr. Dominguez's phone?
It looks to be, yes.
And so this is data that you worked with during your analysis, correct?
Yes.
Right. And so I'm going to publish what's been marked as 44B. I want to talk with you about different types of location data. So this image that we're looking at is kind of different than the other images we've seen at the top. It says Celebrate Reader. Do you recognize what this is?
Yes, this is the Celebrate report of the data.
And so here we have images of satellite or a spaceship or something, a Wi-Fi router, and a tower. You see these kind of 3 different icons for different locations?
Yes.
What do those mean?
So the satellite is generally going to be depicting GPS data. The Wi-Fi is those Wi-Fi network locations, and then the tower is a cell tower location.
And so for these GPS locations, we would have to look at the precision or horizontal accuracy measurements for those to see if they were reliable, correct?
Correct. Yeah, you could click on it, and it would give you more information about what it is and what the accuracy estimate is.
And these tower data is generally unreliable because it just means that it was somewhere in range with that tower and not necessarily that that's where it was, correct?
Correct. When you click on it, you'll usually see accuracy estimates, 1,000 plus meters. They're not particularly useful.
And so this Wi-Fi, this tells us this is accurate for location, it's just not accurate for time, correct?
It generally is considered accurate for a location. There can be errors like I discussed where that Wi-Fi router actually moves, but it's certainly not reliable for time.
Okay, and so since we have a Wi-Fi router here,
Existing.
so you testified as to where the phone was in the Sycamore Park area during that time frame, correct?
Yes, based on that native location data.
Okay. So there's other location data that you excluded and you didn't look at, correct?
Correct.
And so that includes a point like this, correct?
It includes everything other than that routine D native location data.
Okay, so I want to back up here a second and I want to talk about your prior report that you issued in this case. You did issue a prior report, correct?
Correct.
And in that report and in an email that came with that report, you made statements about the location data at Sycamore Park, correct?
I did, yes.
Specifically, you made a claim that while there are some locations in the park, I'm unable to state if the phone was actually there, correct?
Referring to April 27th only.
You said, I looked at the location data for the evening of April 27th. I narrowed it down to only native locations, which is our best source of data.
Wait, can we slow down just a little, please?
Sorry. I looked at location data for the evening of April 27th. I narrowed it down to only native locations, which is our best source of data. While there are some locations in the park, I'm unable to say the phone was actually there, correct?
That was my original findings, which have been revised, yes.
And so, but that was what was in your original report, correct?
Correct. There's also a caveat in there. Didn't have the data for long, and I had not had a chance to go through what we would normally do as a peer review quality control check internally at Archer Hall. So those were kind of preliminary findings, but that is correct.
I'm handing you what's been marked for identification purposes as People's 91B. Can you take a look at that for me, please? You recognize what People's 91B is?
That's that original kind of preliminary report.
And this is the report that you created.
Correct.
And so, how long was this the only report? How much time until the revised report came out?
I don't recall exactly. I revised the report after Mr. Kumada testified, and then I better understood the data that he was looking at and relying on, and also the time frames that he was looking at and relying on.
And so, on direct, you testified that there was one point within the park on the evening of April 27th. Do you remember that testimony?
Correct. I believe it was 11:53 p.m. There was one location point there.
And when you analyzed the data from the evening of April 27th in your original report, you made an assertion that there was inconsistencies in the phone locations, correct?
That was originally the finding, yes.
And so I'm trying to page 10 of your report, publish.
Okay.
And so here you're looking at locations within the park at 11:53 and 42 seconds, and 11:53 and 44 seconds, and then you were saying that it was inconsistent with these other 2 points here, correct?
Correct.
This is more than one point within the park, correct?
Correct.
And you had another page also with location, what was reported as location inconsistencies. You were saying that this location in the park, 115842, was inconsistent with 115856, correct?
That was what I was finding at the time, and since realized that there was a mistake there.
All right, so this is different than these other 2 points, correct?
Correct.
So we have now at least 3 points in the park for April 27th, correct?
That we originally found, and I since removed because of reliability issues.
And so when you did your comparison, you looked at those points and made assertions in your report that it made it inconsistent, correct?
That was the original finding, which has since been revised.
Okay, so you were comparing these points on the other side of the freeway to these points within the park, correct?
Originally, yes.
And so this point of 1153.32 can be found within the self-right data. Now, I have now people's 91C. You see the self-right data.
Hold on just a moment. 91C, I haven't heard reference to that before.
Sorry, I'll show it to you on the screen. I'm
I
handing
don't
you.
know what it is.
I'll set it up here.
Okay, thanks.
I'm handing you the marked as people's 91C. Can you take a look at that for me, please? Have you had a chance to look at 91C?
Yes,
Is this more Celebrate data?
it is. Yes.
And this relates to the points that you have in your initial report as being inconsistent, correct?
Some of it does.
And so, if we publish page 1 of 91C, and we're going to work together with 91C and 91B at the same time. So for 91B, you look at this point here, 1153.32, right?
Yes.
And so when we look at the actual Celebrate data for 1151.32, why is the Celebrate data then saying that it gives us a different time? Instead of 1153.32, it's telling us 653.32.
That one is showing in UTC as opposed to local time. You have to subtract 7 hours.
Okay, so even though it says 653.32, this is that 1153.32 point.
Correct.
And here it gives a horizontal accuracy number, correct?
Yes,
And this is in meters, correct?
it is.
And so this tells us that it has horizontal accuracy of 2,000, sorry. There we go. It has horizontal accuracy of 2,846 meters, correct?
Correct.
And then you said that that was inconsistent with a point that happened seconds before, which was, so 1153.32, and you're saying that was inconsistent with 1153.44 and 1153.42, because funds can't move that far that fast. That was your assertion, correct?
Originally, and again, I've since revised it, having more time to look through the data.
And so if we go to page 2 of People's 91C, and we look at these points, the 1153.44 and 1153.42, starting with the 1153.44 point, we can see that it has horizontal accuracy of 28 meters, correct?
That's correct.
And that point, according to your initial report, is right smack in the middle of Sycamore Park, correct?
Correct, and that one remains in the revised report.
And so this location with 28 meters accuracy is not actually inconsistent with this location with over 2 kilometers of accuracy. They're actually completely consistent with each other, correct?
Yes, they are correct, but I didn't include that other one because of that accuracy estimate. So that's why those have been removed in the current report.
The one from today.
Well, yeah, I created it about, 1 or 2 weeks ago, and then there was a slight revision today.
And so you also talk about, in your prior report, you talk about this point here, 1152.47, how that's on the left side of the freeway, and how that's in conflict with these points within the park, correct?
Again, that was the kind of initial opinion that has since been revised.
Okay, but it is correct that that's what you had in your initial opinion?
Yes.
And so that had a horizontal accuracy of 2,405 meters, correct?
Yes.
So again, over 2 kilometers.
Yes.
And you were comparing that to a point that was in the park with a horizontal accuracy of 120 meters, correct?
Yes.
And so these 2 points that are on the slide in your initial report were claiming that this is inconsistent, or indicating that this is inconsistent, is you have points that are way outside the park with horizontal accuracy of over 2 kilometers, and you have 2 points in the park with horizontal accuracy of 28 and 120 meters, correct?
Yes, that's why this was removed. There was an error earlier on.
And so this is,
352 at this point.
Getting there.
so this is all,
Overruled. Yeah, move on.
this is all consistent with the phone being in the park, correct?
Those 2 points on the left aren't particularly reliable. The 2 points on the right that are in the park are certainly consistent.
But these 2 points on the left are not inconsistent with the phone being in the park, correct?
They're just not reliable sources to for us to be using.
And then on the next page where you talk about 2 additional points that are reported as inconsistent, it's the same thing. You have a point outside the park with a very high horizontal accuracy, and then you have a point in the park which doesn't actually list horizontal accuracy for that point, correct?
Correct. Again, preliminary report that has since been revised.
Because that point outside the park there, this one that was reported as inconsistent, has over 4.5 kilometers of inconsistency, or of horizontal accuracy area, right?
That's correct. That's why it's no longer in the report.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and stop it. All right, we need to take an afternoon break. Thank you for your patience. We'll resume the testimony, Brian. Chase, after our 15-minute break, don't form any opinions, don't research the case, and don't discuss the substance. Thank you. We'll see you after break.